Welcome back to the channel, everyone. As you can see me, the 52 Chevy is behind me. We're going to pull this out from the wall today, and the bed is standing up right there. We're going to take the bed, lay it flat, probably going to take off about 8 to 10 inches from the bed as we are building a shorty 52 Chevy truck. We're going to get the bed mocked up on the frame, body mounts for the bed will be built, and hopefully the bed will be in place by the time this video is finished and will actually look like a real truck. So Dave should be here any minute now to help out, so let's get to it. Drilling out the spot welds along the entire way here. I'm going to pre-drill it with a little tiny drill bit, and then I've got a spot weld cutter, which we're going to be using. Trick is finding the spot welds. So I'm going off of a piece we've already used. We've already cut these out of using a drill bit, and the drill bit took forever. So if we hit all these real quick, that is a lot faster. So these are the spots where the spot welds were. Just grinding it down with a flappy wheel easily reveals them when they did the body work. You can tell this thing was 3 or 4 different colors and some filler put on here and all that junk. The tip is not pointy anymore. Not pointy. Hit up the tip of it with the grinder a little bit. Hopefully make it a little more pointy. The center stalk of the cutter. Everything else, the teeth are fine. I think it's just these two up in the upper top parts here. Everything is free. These bolt along here. This is actually the back of the bed, this piece. These bolts here actually bolt to the back panel of the bed. Top bolt here, it's a long 5-foot threaded rod that goes all the way through the tube at the back of the bed. So it wasn't the teeth that went bad on the cutter, it's the center stalk. That wore down to nothing, which renders it useless because it doesn't stay centered and wants to wander all over. You need that center stalk on this thing to actually stay centered in your pilot hole. So I'm on the second cutter I have. Hopefully I'm a little careful with that center stalk, or if I can figure out a way to insert another center stalk into the other one. Maybe. Now my other one broke. There's a little Allen key at the back side. I'm going to see what that does. Alright, so check this out. I was able to take the Allen wrench and unscrew this screw on the bottom, and a 6D brad nail fits in there perfectly, and it's slightly spring-loaded when you push on it, so this is really too long, but as long as I pre-drill a pilot hole big enough to fit a 6D screw nail through, this thing should still work perfectly fine. So a little Harbor Freight spot welding tool hack if you need to. There you go. It's actually in pretty good shape. Just surface rust on the inside, nothing too bad. In a mud bee's nest. Pretty much going to cut right along this line here. The bed length is going to be 69 inches exactly, but before we do that, we've got to take the other one off the other side. That's what we're going to do right now. Here we spot weld, spot weld, spot weld, spot weld, spot weld, spot weld, spot weld. The trick is finding spot welds after all the years of paint and Bondo. Okay, we're back. Fix this up again. Keep going. Work on cleaning all of these braces up now that go on the back bed. Really rusty on the back sides. We're not going to be able to paint these once they're back on the truck. So, weld through primer right here, maybe some oil-based primer on the insides just to really see them up nicely. And then they will get welded back on the bed sides here. So working on that now. So I'm going to paint the insides of these bed brackets while I have them off before I weld them back on the bed sides. I'm going to use some Rust-Oleum semi-gloss black oil-based primer paint. It should seal them up nicely, just to get something on the insides to keep them from rusting, because you're not going to be able to paint in here once they're all welded back on the bed sides. So doing that right now. I'm going to use some green frog tape just to tape up any holes on the sides here to keep the paint from weeping through the sides. So I'll just tape those up, paint the insides, be done. All the holes are patched up on the outside on this now. So when I paint the inside, nothing should run out these holes. Both sides. Do that for the rest of them too. Now that all these have been painted, we're going to let them dry overnight. The next step will be to actually tack weld them on or spot weld them back into place on the rear bed sides. So that's what we're waiting for now, is let these dry, we'll get back at it. So where all these holes are right now, these are the spot welds we drilled out. I'm going to drill a couple more holes in place so we can actually spot weld it back into place, a little more secure than it was originally. However afraid is your friend. $3.99 for an 11-inch clamp like this. So you can see all the marks that I put on right here. This is where we need to take the flat wheel and just make sure this is all nice and clean metal. No paint, no rust. Just nice and clean metal. Up on both sides, the back side of here, all the way down here. So when we're actually spot welding through, it grips the metal nice and clean. So I'm going to pull the flat wheel out, get that cleaned up. now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some paper, wrapping paper, whatever you want to call it, lay it down on the bedside, and I'm going to actually mark every single one of the factory fender holes. That way I know when I shift the fender, I'll remark the holes where they go, and I'll have the exact replica and shape of the fender I need. Then I'll take my template, flip it over, and use it on the other bedside. Six holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which should be the exact shape of the fender. So I'm going to take this off of here. I'm going to put the other bedside on that we just finished, and then I'm going to see if this template's going to work out like I'm planning it should. Basically by flipping it over, marking the center hole, marking the other holes, putting the fender on that one, then that bedside should be relatively complete. This one we still have to weld the ends on. Alright everyone, that's going to be right for this video. We got the bed sides completely shortened and all cleaned up and ready to go for the next video. In the next video we're going to work on putting the bed sides all back together to actually form the bed, get it onto the truck, and actually get the bed mounts mocked up and welded in place. So please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification icon down below so you know when future videos do come out, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.